So within 4 to 5 years, 80% of the data used by businesses will be handled at the periphery of the network, called the edge, closer to the end users, as opposed to in a centralized, remote, hyperscale data centers, as a way to reduce latency and allow artificial intelligence algorithm and applications to take decisions in real time. So it involves the deployment of many hundreds, if not thousands, of much smaller data centers, typically in urban areas, populated areas, sometimes in purpose-built facilities or mobile vehicles. And the user cases are actually quite impressive, from gaming to Industry 4.0 and autonomous vehicles. Edge computing is really going to enable the future for all of us. So on one side, we have the big tech hyperscalers who are not prepared to abandon their advantage that they've built over a decade in cloud technologies and are already using their own services, developing their own services in edge computing. On the other side, we have telecom operators that are currently rolling out their 5G network technologies, and the architecture of 5G networks is very similar to that of edge computing networks. They are distributed, decentralized, and really the two are very close in terms of philosophy. Many of the small data centers that we were talking about earlier can be easily positioned close to a 5G tower or close to a telecom center. And this is an opportunity for telecom groups to come back into that race for data services and go beyond simple connectivity and into the world of data applications. But the first way to approach the race is typically to create partnerships. And so over the past 2 years, we've seen quite a few big tech companies partner with telecom operators, and typically a company like Amazon, for example, placing their products and services inside the data centers of some telecom operators. This has happened quite a lot, but this is obviously not the end of that race. A company like Microsoft, for example, has been acquiring very aggressively a number of 5G network virtualization technologies, giving them a real expertise in the fields of telecom networks. On the other hand, we've seen telecom operators join forces together, in particular through initiatives like the Telco Edge Cloud managed by the GSMA Association. The idea here is to pool resources together and make sure that all these telecom edge computing networks become interoperable and can grow to develop all these very exciting applications that we were discussing earlier. Now, that is quite hard to tell at this stage, and one thing for sure, big tech companies in the US certainly have a big advantage in terms of financial firepower. The GAFAMs, for example, are known to have something like $500 billion on their balance sheet at the moment, which compares with much more limited resources on the side of the telecom operators, who also have to manage much bigger amounts of leverage and debt. But eventually, success will come to the companies that will be able to develop the best value-adding services. And we're starting to see a number of interesting things on the telecom side. And so I'd like to give a couple of examples. Finnish operator Elisa, for example, is developing his new smart factory platform. In Sweden, Telia has been focusing, for example, on smart buildings, smart cities, and climate control technologies. eventually, this is where the race will be won or lost.